welcome to the Home Print Studio. This week I'm making a series of Drypoint etching plates, so I'm going to be printing those in the coming weeks. I'm going to show you how I work from phone snaps and simple compositional sketches, and hopefully I'm going to demonstrate to you that your plates don't need to be complex, detailed or perfect to begin with. I'm Ruth and I help artists to deepen their practice through hand printing at home. If you'd like regular updates from me, then do join my email list. You'll get regular writing about art, how-to videos, all the printy things you need to know about, and you'll also get my free guide, How to be a Rebel Printmaker, as well. So if you want to do that, then do join. The link is in the description below. Right, let's get plate making. So what I'm looking for with photographs is composition, colour. So these are a series of photographs that I took on my phone on a walk in Dorset, and I really like this this whole idea of the path leading the eye into the composition. And then I'm not sure if you can see there, but there is a patch of really bright yellow at the end of the path, and also the fence line is sort of helping draw the eye as well. These aren't perfect compositions as they are at the moment. I really liked this tree. But they can be manipulated, and I do manipulate them. I do take artistic license. This one's really hard to see actually, but I remember, and I wrote down something as I was walking, the tractor marks and the marks on this field were really, really beautiful, and the colour was actually like a really, really soft, bright green coming through. And I couldn't, the photograph didn't really show it, but I know that there is a rolling field here and that there are some lovely marks. So this is just kind of to remind me what I saw and what I want to do. And if something interests me, I take lots of photos of the same thing. This one might be the best one for you to see, actually. Don't know if you can see that. All those lovely marks intersecting on the photograph and on the field. So these I'm going to take and just do some really, really simple compositions with them. And I'm going to manipulate the compositions from what they are now. So I've actually done some drawing already. So this is my sort of improvised sketchbook page, and you can see that they're really simple actually. I'm just using literally a black felt tip pen, and I'm just working out compositions. So just kind of scale where the horizon line might be, if there's a flash of colour or a flash of tonal contrast, kind of figuring out where that might be. And this one here is this rolling field that I was talking about. So I've really emphasised the line work here and the rollingness of the field and where the horizon would be. The format as well, just thinking about the format, whether it's square, landscape, portrait, whatever it might be. So I do, like I say, I do very simple compositional sketches. So I'm just going to have a go at this one here. A bit difficult to see in this light, but we've got a gate in the foreground, we've got a beautiful soft blue sky, and actually of course the colours are really the thing that will start to happen when you print, when you add sheen collé or monoprint as you print. So I'm just sort of doing a basic format here. I try not to do exactly a 4:6 photo format, just because it tends to look more like a photograph like that. The annoying thing about working from a phone is it keeps going off. So I just like the flow of the different sort of horizon lines here and the darkness there, and then kind of juxtaposing with the gate in the foreground, which is sort of creating its own horizon line. So I really am going pretty simple here, and it's really just to get those all important composition, relationship between things, lines, tonal contrast, and scale. Scale's a big one as well. I've got a flash of yellow here, which I can see in my photo, so I'm just putting that in. And I often just put little notes on as well, you know, bright yellow. There's a kind of rollingness to this field with a little tree here. I quite like that little aspect of it. I'm not sure I like how tall these trees are here, so I might sort of make those smaller. But it might be that I actually play around with the horizon line. So if we make the horizon line a bit higher here, that's gonna really change things around. It's gonna make we can get the gate in to be sort of almost like the main thing in the picture, so that we've got these lovely rolling fields, but with a gate, you know, a sort of real structure to it. I mean, I'm going very, very basic here, but just to kind of get scale. So that's the kind of level I get to. I tend to write a little, when I'm happy with what I've got here, I'll write a little plan. So it might be that I literally just write the layers. So when we print, we work in layers. We're thinking from the first layer, second layer, third layer, and fourth layer, what's going to work on top of each other. So it might be blue sky to start with over the whole thing. It might then be some sort of yellowy green for the land. Then I might go for the dark details. Well, I can do the gate with Drypoint. So yeah, if I put, yeah, so that's going to be part of the plate that I make. And the trees probably as well. So the dark aspect is basically going to be what my Drypoint plate is. And I'm just thinking about the chine collé and or collage that I can add colour and texture in with as well at the same time. So that's just my very basic plan. So I've actually bought some new aluminium, which I very rarely do. I usually just reuse old plates. But I've got to the stage now where I actually need some new stuff. So I've ordered some and I've cut it down into the shape and size that I want. And I did that at the print studio because they have a guillotine for metal. Otherwise, you can get the place that you order it from to cut it to the exact size for you. They will do that usually. And it comes with this plastic kind of stuck to one side to protect it. So I'm just going to pull that away. Okay. Right, so there is a slight mark on this already, but it's very slight and it won't show when printed. The other side has not been protected and it's got quite a few scratches on it. But me being me, I probably will use that for something. I will use that as a printing plate at some point because I quite do like background noise, so to speak, on a plate. But this is the side you're supposed to use. So I'm going to use my Drypoint needle, but you could use a screw and a cork. I've used lino printing tool, like the corner of lino printing tools before as well. Anything sharp that's going to make a really nice scratch in your metal. And again, you don't have to use metal. You could use the Tetrapaks or milk bottles, like plastic. You can buy plastic for the purpose. You can use a thing called Enviromount, which is basically card, a sort of shiny card that you can cut into. But I haven't used aluminium for ages, and I really do like the velvety line you can get with it. So what you can do, I mean, you can basically draw your image first off, which makes life a little bit easier. You don't have to be quite so freehand about it. But what you do have to remember is, and I've just remembered it now, you have to flip everything horizontally. Now there are ways of doing this. You can use mirrors, you can use use tracing paper and then flip it over and draw it on like that. But just to bear in mind that everything you do is going, when it's printed, is going to be the opposite. Now, it doesn't always matter too much, and I don't always mind, especially with landscapes, unless it's a very particular landscape. But it's something to be aware of, definitely. So I am just doing this sort of freehand. I'm just drawing it on first, freehand, flipping it horizontally in my brain. Possibly not a great idea, but so I've actually just got I've got my sketch just propped up in front of me. It's a bit difficult to see that, just so that I can. And I'm actually looking at that more than I'm looking at what I'm drawing, actually. So these are the trees of a sort of a lane that's coming down here. Okay, and that's basically it for my freehand drawing. And then I'm going to start scratching into this metal. Okay, I'm actually going to turn this around so that I am pulling downwards and kind of working with what I've got. It can be quite difficult to get a really, well, I find it quite difficult to get a controlled line with the dry point needle. It often jumps and moves all over the place and can be a little bit annoying. So I try to keep it pretty much going in the same direction at any one time, and then I just sort of move my plate around. So I'm coming towards myself. You can sort of burn, if you make a mistake, you can burnish out lines. If what you need a burnishing tool for that, or something smooth that you can sort of just run over the scratch with a little bit of oil helps as well, and that should get rid of it. I'm just doing these sort of basic lines to start with. And I've got this massive space here. I'm not doing anything with this. This is going to be sky, and I'm going to print. I'll show you actually. I've already made some monoprints on tissue paper, very just colours really, that's all they are, colours that I've made with oil paint and tissue paper. These are going to be sheen collared, that's basically collaged into the print as it goes through the press, and that will create this colour here. So what, as you can see, I'm keeping it really, the actual plate itself is really, really simple, and then I can work with all the little variants and all the little things that I can add to it as I print, and also after I've printed as well. So I just want nice velvety lines for this aspect. What you're aiming for actually is, and you can feel this with your finger, is like a burr. What's called a burr, which is basically where you're displacing, when you scratch in, you're actually displacing metal, and it sort of sits on the side of wherever you've scratched, and you can feel it with your finger, and that's actually where the ink will sit when you print this. It will sit on the burr. It will go a little bit into the actual scratch, but it will also sit on the burr, and that's why dry point, you can't make as many additions or multiples with a dry point, because the burr slowly wears down, and you know, once it's gone, it's quite difficult to actually get a good print out of it. But yeah, the main thing that I have found in the past is that I'm not making enough of a scratch, enough of a burr, and that means it's not going to print. So do make sure that as you go along, just feel with your finger, and you'll feel it. It feels a bit rough. You can feel the little bits of metal that you've displaced, and that's what you want. And that's why I'm pressing down quite hard as well. Although it makes it quite difficult to draw and control, it's going to create a nice velvety line. So right there I've got my sort of field lines, and I've got these slightly more detailed field lines here, and there's going to be some bright yellow in here, there's going to be some bright yellow in here, and there's going to be a beautiful wash of sort of very soft blue for the sky. And then I have these trees over here, these really large, beautiful, they're going to be quite bright green trees, and I want those to be really dark. So what I might actually do, I might add some carborundum, which I haven't got here at the moment, so I'm not going to do that right now. But the other thing you could do if you want really dark black, I've got a little bit of sandpaper here, or glass paper, and this creates tones. Well, this basically creates lots and lots of really tiny little marks, little scratches. So you can imagine that's going to create lovely tone. It's going to be really dark. So if you want a really dark area, then sandpaper might be the way to go. And of course you can just gently use it as well, and you'll get a sort of soft grey tone as well. So another way to get darkness, or a real quite a black area, is to crosshatch. So if you've ever done drawing before, you'll know what crosshatching is, and you've probably done it at school as well, to create shade. You're just making lines one way and then the other, and you can imagine the ink is really going to stick to all these burrs, all these bits of metal and scratches, and you're going to get, if not a perfect black, you won't get a perfect black, but you will get a much darker tone. So that's one way of getting a dark area, and I'm gonna make this whole area, these trees here, really quite dark. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. So I'm going to keep going with that. But that is basically my simple dry point plate ready to print at home or with a printing press. And you can see how you get from a photograph all the way to a very simple plate. And then when I print it, I'm going to add loads of different variables in. Lots of colour, lots of collage, and it's going to look really quite different. I hope that's inspired you to make some simple printing plates at home. More videos will be coming in the next few weeks about how I print those printing plates. If you want regular updates from me, do join my email list. You also get my free guide, How to Be a Rebel Printmaker. The link is down in the description if you want to do that, and I'll see you next week.